Okay guys, I'm back, and in this video I want to do a quick spotlight video on one of my favorite action stars growing up, and that's Chuck Norris. Uh, the first time I remember catching a Chuck Norris movie, it was I was probably about maybe 10 or so, and it was late night. Me and my cousin was sitting around watching TV at night, and we caught the tail end of Missing in Action 2. And that was my beginning of my lifelong enjoyment of this actor. A lot of kids nowadays may know him only for Walker, but uh, he's done way more stuff than that. And ever since I saw him in Missing in Action 2, I've always been a big fan of his. And this one was always one of my favorites, Lone Wolf McQuade. I had that on VHS, and I watched that till the tape just wore down. I mean, I watched it a lot. That one, and Delta Force was always one of my favorites. Delta Force 2 is a really underrated sequel, to be honest. Code of Silence was really good. I like that one a lot. And there was one more that let's see. I don't have it. It's in the other room, but I did enjoy Silent Rage a lot. I watched that a bunch of times as well. I like that one because it felt more like a horror movie, you know, like Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or something like that, you know, like some unstoppable monster, you know. But Hero and the Terror was a really good one. Like I said, Breaker. It took me a long time to see the full version of this because when I was growing up, TBS would play these two a lot, and I could never catch all of them, you know, until I bought the DVD. I finally got the chance to see all of Breaker. But yeah, Chuck Norris was always one of my favorite action stars. He also did Firewalker, which was pretty good, sort of like Chuck Norris in an Indiana Jones role, almost. I never did see The Forest Warrior. I never saw that one. There's another one I really couldn't get into. Can't remember the title, but I don't think it's. I can't remember the movie, but it's not Hero and the Terror. But I think he's going after a killer, and his girlfriend is pregnant or whatever. And there's one scene where he faints. I can't. I for some reason I can never get into that movie, and I've tried to watch it. But he actually does a halfway decent acting job in the movie. It's not Hero and the Terror, but what I'm thinking of. Can't remember what it's called. But let's see what else did I really like of his. The Missing in Action movies. I have those in a digital copy. I don't think I have the DVD of all three of them, which I really want all three of those. It was a shame he never got to team up with Dolph Lundgren or Van Damme or any of those guys. Not counting the Expendables 2, of course, but earlier, you know. Would have been really nice to see all those guys team up when they were in their prime, you know. That would have been really good. But I always wanted a sequel to Silent Rage because it always ended like it should have gotten a sequel, but you know, we never did. But he had a pretty decent movie career, you know. I always thought he was underrated, because it always seemed to be uh, Chuck Norris, like a B tier actor, you know, then Stallone and Arnold on A tier, you know, and it seemed like Chuck Norris really never got his dues, as far as being up there in the spotlight the way he was. And one of my other favorites was uh, Invasion USA. I really, really love that one, which is ever since uh, ever since 9/11, it's kind of scary to watch, because that stuff really could happen. But and on a side note, there is a sequel to Invasion USA starring the guy from the American Ninja movies. I forget his name right now, but if you grew up watching those movies, you know who I'm talking about. I have a digital copy, but not the DVD or VHS copy of it. But after he did his 20 years or so of movies, he went and did this TV show, which ran for about 9 years or so. And I like Walker as a whole, but it does get a little bit too preachy for me, and they overdo the slow motion aspects of it. But overall, it's a decent show. I watched it a lot on Saturday nights with my grandmother, and she loved this show a lot. And in between that, he also did these. They were TV movies: Logan's War, Bound by Honor, The President's Man, and The President's Man 2, A Line in the Sand. And I could be wrong, but that picture does look like a scene from Invasion USA, and that's probably a scene from Delta Force 2. I don't know why they did that. They could have just took scenes from the actual movie. And I don't know if they were going for a spin-off TV show, but these two would have done real good as TV show, as pilots for a TV show, especially The President's Man. That really would have been a really good show. I would have watched it. And they could have done it in such a way that Chuck Norris wouldn't have had to be a main character, just pop in once every blue moon. But yeah, he's always going to be one of my favorites. And it's a shame, nobody talks about him. It's the same way with Dolph Lundgren or Charles Bronson, just written away, And the only time somebody talks about Chuck Norris is if they're telling one of those stupid Chuck Norris jokes, But one day I'm going to go through have a Chuck Norris marathon of all my Chuck Norris movies. And I've got way more than these, but they're just in like a sleeve. I don't have the actual DVD case for them. That's why I didn't bother showing them off. But okay, guys, that's just my thoughts on Chuck Norris. Very underrated B-movie actor, but still one of the best.